I'm an entrepreneur in the health industry. I've actually come to listen in to what Athanas has to tell us to learn from his experience.
Asante sana, Gloria. John Kinyanjui, please introduce yourself and what you do. John? John. John has trouble connecting. Athanas, can you speak now? Have you sorted your issue?
Hello.
Yes, we can now hear you a bit better.
Now you can hear me well?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry for that. So my name is Athanas Njoroge. I'm a software engineer, entrepreneur. So I've trained in software engineering and I do develop softwares. I operate a company in Rwanda called NV Data Solutions. And lately I've also come back in Kenya and I'm operating a company called Deities Technologies Limited.
Thank you very much, Athanas. We hear about what exactly is Envy, what is Envy Limited, what kind of software is it that you make, and what is your background? What made you go into that industry?
Okay, thank you. So NV Data Solutions is a company that is dealing with, first of all, we started with the point of sale. So what happened is that Rwanda, they introduced a system for the ETR systems, which was going, instead of the way they use the gadgets, like the way they use in Kenya, they decided to use software to software integration. That is, when you have your software, you can get what we call the APIs. You can integrate with Rwanda Revenue Authority. Then you can go and certify your software. And then once they certify, you can be able to sell it to the customer so that when they make the invoices are integrated with Rwanda server and then with Rwanda Revenue Authority server. And then they can be able to get what we call the signatures and the QR code. And then you can be able to punch them in the invoice such that the customers are able to give what we call the ETR invoices. But there we call them the EBM invoices. So I did a POS, a point of sale software system, and I started, it was certified by Rwanda Revenue Authority, and I started selling. But in the point of selling, you would sell to a customer a point of sale software. Then he would ask you, what if I want to pay for the expenses? Can it be able to cater for my expenses? Then I will tell the customer, no, but we can add that feature. Then he says, add for me that feature. Then he would say, what if I want to pay my employees? Can it be able to do payroll for me? Then I would say, not at the moment, but we can add. Then they would say, add for me that feature. Then I saw that ideally, to be able to solve these problems that the customers have, we need to have something like an ERP. You know, an ERP is an enterprise resource planning kind of a software whereby it has the CRM, it has the point of sale, it has the purchases, it has the payroll, it has the HR, it has the recruitment. It is a software that has everything. So I decided to build such kind of a software such that when a customer asks me, can it do my purchases? Then I tell him, yes. I can then add for him that module. When he says, can I be able to manage my employees? I say, yes. I add the module for the HR. So in the end, I ended up creating what we call an ERP system, which I called NV ERP, that now I can be able to sell the customer whatever modules he wants. And if in future he needs an extra module, then we can just add it on.
Yes, that means that you had a software, an all-in-one software and a solution for businesses. But then again, you came to 20X, meaning, hello? Athanas, I just saw your face. But then again, you came to 20X, you have this product, and you came to 20x. This product should be able to sell itself. So what challenges were you facing?
Okay, thank you for that question. Now, I have made this software. It has all the modules. When a customer wants a module, I can add. One of the challenges that I faced is one, I'm in a foreign country. I'm not well known. Secondly, I did not want to go the route of getting a venture capitalist who could inject capital in my business and in the end, maybe have a control in my business or what, because I was passionate about what I was doing. But the biggest challenge I had was on increasing my sales, because I would get one customer, then when he pays, my expenses are more. You know, when you're in a foreign country, you are hiring the office, you are renting where you are staying, you are renting the vehicle that you are going to use for transport. And so expenses used to be more than what was the income. And I wanted to really increase these sales. However much I tried by myself, either by advertising or trying to get some people, local people there who I could train, they could market, it wasn't moving. And it's that point that I started searching in the internet, how can you sell a software? How can you increase sales in the software? And you know, one thing that what happens with the Google especially, they have this algorithm that whatever you are searching, they try to read your mind, and then they can try to push to you some like adverts or information related to what you are searching. And that algorithm, by magic, it started even sending things in my Facebook account and what have you. And one of the most, I think, that was featured in there was this thing of 20x, the Sell Me Pen, those webinars and things like that. At first, I wasn't interested, so I kept on ignoring them. But one day, I decided this is a free webinar. It costs me nothing. Let me try to register and try to see what they are talking about. And then I think that was now the game changer.
So we will, you've said a couple of things which we will unpack. One, you said you didn't want venture capital. You wanted to increase your sales. While a lot of people in your industry, in the tech industry, especially startups, you know, whether it is in Kigali or in Nairobi, around that time, there was a lot of venture capital going around and they were rushing for it. There was a lot of money. Tell me about that problem, that issue between, and I know you have some in-depth information about what venture capital does for businesses and why you chose the route of increasing your sales rather than, maybe if I may go so far as saying, the lazy way of looking for money to throw at a problem. So why did you choose the way of growing sales rather than capital, venture capital?
Okay, so though in my industry that everything, most of 90% of those businesses, they succeed through the venture capital. First of all, I was so passionate about my work. I had a very strong attachment with my product, and I did not want to bring in someone who could tell me, no, for this you need to do this, for this you need to do this, for this you need to do this. I felt that this was my product. I don't need to have somebody who will have a control on it, on what I'm doing. That was one. Number two, I had this strong belief. There is a book I had read that if you want to succeed, first you have to break all the rules. I think it was Stephen Harvey book that I had read, that if you want to succeed, you have first of all to break all the rules. So I looked and found that everybody was going for venture capitals. And you know, with the venture capitalism, when they inject money, they'll have a control on your business, they'll direct you what you have to do. And at the end of the day, you know, you don't feel that you have a full control. For me, I wanted a situation whereby if I meet a business that is struggling, my drive was not much money, but I wanted a situation whereby I can even give this software for free and nobody would ask me a question. So I think that's what led me to rather think of how I can have the strategies to increase my sales and get the revenue from my sales rather than having somebody to inject capital into the business.
Okay, okay, I understand. So now you come to 20X, you come to the webinar, and you join the program. What is this thing? Because you are the same person who had this product, and the product did not change. So what changed during that program that you joined, that, and what were the results of that change?
Okay, first of all, when I joined this program, and Eunice, who was taking us through, first of all, she gave us an exercise that really changed my perception, because in the exercise she asked us, where do you want to find yourself, like in the next 1 year or in the next 2 years? And of course, you would write, I want to have my sales increase by this volume and things like that. But then there was also another fundamental questions. After you achieve your objective, what are you going to do? And then that's when I realized, oh, I've been trying to move my sales, but I don't have a plan, like when they increase, what do I need to do? And then there was also something very important that really made a lot of impact. And she said that when you are selling, you need to understand what we call the pain points that the person you're trying to give a solution is going through. That one, I never used to think about it. For me, I used to think that these are business, they need a software so that they can be able to sell. I used not to think what pains they are going through so that I could try to capitalize on those pains. And the moment she has said that, I sat back and started thinking by myself, what pains could these people be going through? What challenges could they be going through? And I decided to formulate a way in which, even when I'm going to the customer, first of all, instead of just introducing my product and what I want to do, I try to pose the question and to try to ask the customer, what challenges does he have in his business? What are the pain points that he has? And they could open up and explain what they are going through. And then I would say, I would look at my product and tell her, wait a minute, I think these problems you're going through, they can be solved by these A, B, C, D. And then I would introduce the kind of the solution I have and how it could solve those kind of problems. And then I think that is what worked magic, because the businessman saw that this person is thinking about the problems I'm having and is thinking about giving me a solutions to the problems that I'm having. I think that's what worked magic.
That is wonderful. So there was a change in perspective, and you asked yourself what people really want, what the problems really were. Could you elaborate a bit on who your ideal customer is? Because before you were saying that people need your product, but they didn't buy it. What is that? What is the commonality? Because for you to sell, you must have noticed some things people have in common, businesses have in common, that your solution was solving. So what were the problems you are noticing in that market and in Rwanda? And are there similar problems, let's say, here in Kenya?
Okay. My ideal customer is that customer who has a challenge in running his business. But I can simply say that, one, these customers, most of them, what I found is that he would open in the morning and sell and sell and sell and sell until 10 p.m. in the night. Then when he sells at 10 p.m. in the night, he would close the business, and then he will start calculating his, doing the calculation. He goes and looks on the shelf, how much did I sell for this? How much did I sell for this? We'll do all those calculations, try to reconcile with the money that he has, the mobile money, the cash, and what have you. And they could say sometimes it would take him from 10 to midnight, and even sometimes he could go home without even having completed those calculations. He would come in the morning and then start doing those kind of reconciliations. So you see, when I realized that problem, and then I tell him, we have this solution whereby you just need to buy a computer or a tablet. And whenever you are selling, you just capture the sale. Whenever you're selling, you capture that sale. Then at the end of the day, you will not have to do any calculation because the report is just there. And then we can also be able to sync this into the cloud or to have um, a web application whereby even if you have employed somebody there, then you'll be able to just from the comfort of your phone, you can be able just to generate the report because we'll have synced the data for you. Then secondly, we'll tell him even those sales that you're selling on credit, you just register the customer, you just approve him for the credit. Then when they are paying, they select him, they select the credit payment, they select that customer. So at the end of the day, you'll be able to see all the credit sales, the terms that you gave in terms of the days. Every day you'll be getting the aging schedule. You'll be seeing who are supposed to pay you by today, who are supposed to pay you tomorrow, who have delayed in paying you. And then that being my ideal customer who is just a normal customer who is doing that business and have had those challenges doing those things manually, and sees that he's going to have a tool that's going to give him accurate report, instance report, simplify his work, remove all the manual work, then that was the person who would easily agree to work with me on the journey.
So thank you. So now we have, that is, now we need to go to the nitty-gritties. We need to go to your sales process. Of course, when you changed your perspective, most probably even your sales process changed. What new sales tactics did you use, and what were the results? How successful were they, and what were the main lessons you learned by employing these new tactics that you got from 20X?
Okay, thank you for that question. So I'll again go back to Eunice. You see, what Eunice had said, of course, you see, within that process, you cannot reach many customers, but she introduced something that was very important, and she gave us an exercise to do that, and that's something that was called a webinar. So she said, if you know the people who you are targeting, try as much as possible to get to the industry. And for example, you get to those companies like company A, you call and you say, I deal with this and this, I'm going to have a webinar, you can join for free or something like that. So what happened is that I went that route and advertised a webinar, and people and even I had hired a conference room in the hotel. Those who were able to participate physically would come. Those who would register online, they would register. Then what I did is that I rehearsed and presented to the best of my ability. And then from there is where I got the leads, so many of them. And then I started following them up, and then most of them were ready to sign up. So I created a list and I gave them the appointments. But of course, there were so many than what I could handle. So first, what I did, I got some interns from university. I trained them, and after training them, then we had the program of how we are going to meet these customers, and then we started going to them, doing the demo, doing the illustrations, onboarding them, and training them, and that's how we managed to onboard so many clients. Actually, more than 500.
Wow. So now you have come from a small company, you are getting interns, which means now you have solved the problem you had of leads, but now it brings in a new problem. Now managing the sales team. So what were your biggest challenges? Because of course you have the people, you need help onboarding these 500 people. You need help training the business people on how to use this thing. So it means now you have a team and a new set of problems you didn't have before. A better problem to have than not having business, but it is a problem nonetheless. So what problems, could you elaborate more? And also, how did you overcome them?
Okay, that's very interesting. I remember that time, in fact, I had to have a personal call with the Eunice. I called her and I told her, me, I'm dying. And she asked me why, because I told her, now I have so many leads converted into customers, so many than I can handle. I'm not sleeping. I have the team to train. I have the team to train. I have the customers to attend to, and I have also existing customers who need support. And I told her this is becoming like a hell of a thing. So, but what she told me, first of all, I need to stop what is called over promising. You know, you have to be realistic. Even if you tell a customer, for now, the work that I have, I'll be able to get to you in 2 months or in 2 weeks or something like that. So first of all, I had to be realistic in that. Secondly, the team that I was having, first I had to expand the team a bit, but also with the advice of Eunice, we realized that we can be able to work for these customers remotely. What do you mean by remotely? Whereby we could ask them to provide a remote connection to their computers, then the team could install, and then we could create like some sort of like a Zoom or something like that, whereby we could be able to take them through without necessarily having to go to the physical location. And that one saved us more time, and we were able to cover much more. But of course, not everybody we were able to cover. So it meant that, of course, there were some that we were not able to reach by then, but we really tried our level best to try to onboard as much as possible.
Now, everyone, I want us to think about this problem now. So you've come from not selling enough to now having too many customers you can't handle. And now you're coming to problems of you are not sleeping because there are too many customers. That's a good problem to have. But also, it also brings in another issue. Like you said, you organized webinars to generate those leads. You created processes like, as you said, remote installing and things like that. But also, could you shed a bit more light, let's say a bit deeper, like what you joined the 12-week program, yes? So what did that 12-week program help you other than just in-depth knowledge on how to organize all those things? So a bit more in depth, if you might.
Okay, with the 12x program, 20x rather, sorry, with the 20x program, other than help me to increase my sales, it really helped me because I was able, it helped me to change my perspective. That's one. Number two, you know, before I was just thinking like a programmer. Just this is software, I'll install for you, it will do A, B, C, D. But now I started thinking like more of a corporate person. I started thinking like an entrepreneur. And I saw that when you are an entrepreneur, the first thing is you have to think about the customers, the service delivery, and you have to think about connecting with the people, giving value to the product, giving value to the customer, taking care of the customers, behaving in a way in which you see that it helped me in a way. You see, before I could only go into the group of the techie people where we are discussing about what it gave me the confidence that even when I meet a CEO of a certain company, I would be able to talk with him in confidence and tell him, oh, I'm a founder of X and YZ company, and I'm able to do this and this. I have onboarded this and this client. We solve problems like this and this. So what I can say is that it really changed me from that programmer who locks himself in the room and starts coding to go out, meet people, meet business people, talk with them, see what challenges they have, and try to be able to solve their problems or to be able even to communicate with them and interact with them freely. Actually, it opened my networks. That's what I can say.
Wonderful, wonderful. So now that was Rwanda. You have expanded your business exponentially. Now here you are in Kenya. What signaled your move? What signaled your expansion back to your home country?
Okay, what signaled my whole of you to come to my back to my country is that even before going to Rwanda, I had tried something in Kenya, but I really feared the market in Kenya. You know, I would see those people who are making in software, they must have offices in Upper Hill, they must have offices in Westland, they are giant companies, and that kind of intimidated me. So I went to Rwanda and whatever, I started work there. But after attending the 20X, I started seeing myself as a corporate. And then I decided that why not go back to Kenya now that I have the experience that I have, I know how to deal with things. So, and by good luck, Kenya was also introducing what we call e-teams. And these e-teams have a lot of things have been borrowed from Rwanda, where I have been. So actually, the commissioner for Rwanda Revenue Authority told me, this technology has already gone to Kenya. Why don't you go and try? Because I know before those people have that running curve, you can make an opportunity. So I came in Rwanda, I came back in Kenya. And when now I go to Rwanda Revenue and ask them, how can I be able to certify the application and start selling and what have you? Of course, you know what happens. They will tell you, you need a company that is registered for this number of, has been operation for this number of years. You need those tax clearance certificates and what have you. And of course, being outside, I do not have that. But because of what I've gained in 20X and the confidence I've gained in 20X, I was just able to look around for the existing companies that are maybe struggling or they want to enter into this business. Me, I have the skill, but then they have years working, they have those papers and what have you. So I just walked to one company, I told them, you see, me, I have this, you have this. Why can't we partner? Why can't I invest by buying shares in your company and then we can be able to do this business? And then because of that confidence, they just agreed. And then I went to Rwanda Revenue with those papers. I presented, I developed the application. I presented to the technical team. They certified. It went to the board. They were convinced, and then they gave me the certificate. And then everything now was okay for me to start going on. So I think that's what influenced me to come back to Kenya.
That's wonderful. So now, since you are saying that the system, the current tax system that was introduced in Kenya is heavily borrowed from Rwanda, what exactly do you mean, and where exactly does your product come in, and what opportunity do you see in the Kenyan market?
Okay, by saying that it has been heavily brought from Rwanda, what happened is that in Kenya, the tax system they have been used is called teams. And these teams, KRA were more interested in getting the sales. But they have realized for them to get a good picture of taxpayers' information and what taxes need to be paid, they need to collect a more data set from the customers. That is, apart from getting the sales data, they need to get the imports, the purchases, and the stock information from these business people. That's why they are shifting from what is called teams. Teams was only sending to KRA the sales. They are now going to e-teams. E-teams is now going to collect a wide data set, the imports, the purchases, the sales, and the stock information. And for them to be able to do that, this is what had already been done in Rwanda. So actually, that's how they went for benchmarking there, and they found how that technology is working. And actually, they adopted that technology and then they brought it here. So that technology having come here and having been the technology that I've been using there, then it was a bit easier for me to come and to be able to work on it.
Yes. So now we are laymen here. You know your stuff, but me, I am a layman, and I'm sure so are many other people. Say I have a small business. I have a small business, and I want to be compliant with KRA.
Yes.
What can you do for me? Where do I begin? If I came to you right now, where do I begin?
Okay. So there is a very big paradigm shift in this country when we say that we are migrating from Teams to e-Teams. First of all, you realize that in Teams, the customers were required to buy some gadgets which cost 25, 30,000, even 100,000. They're supposed to purchase those gadgets, and then they were supposed to use them for generating the ETR receipts. But with the e-Teams, KRA have introduced, just like Rwanda, what we call system to system integration. So when I come to you, I'll tell you, when we are migrating you from Teams to e-Teams, forget now the expense of having to buy an expensive gadget. It's just your system that I'm going to connect it to Rwanda Revenue, such that when you're using that system that you have, then you can be able to interact with Rwanda Revenue Server. You can be able to get the ETR without having to purchase an extra physical device. Secondly, if you don't have a software, then I have a very affordable software that I can be able to put for you. Then we can be able to integrate for you to the Rwanda Revenue. If you have an existing software, we'll just be able to integrate it to Rwanda Revenue at a very affordable price.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Atanas. But you seem to be in Rwanda. This is Kenya Revenue. Kenya Revenue. These people are worse, I think. Worse. So
yes,
you've really explained it well, and we can really see the need. But going back to coming back to Kenya, you've created a team, you have a product, and now you are targeting. Who exactly are your targets now?
Okay, so who is my target? So my target is one, the large taxpayers. The large taxpayers, you see, like those Kenya Breweries, the Safaricom, the people like that, those ones, they already have their systems that are called ERP systems. They have invested a lot of money in them. So for that kind of taxpayers, I'm giving a service that is called an aggregator. What is an aggregator? An aggregator is you continue using your software, but there is a way I'm going to help you to interface it with the Kenya Revenue Authority. Then we have these the small taxpayers and the middle taxpayers. For those ones, then those who have already have a software they have invested in, they don't want to change, we are going also to integrate for them. For the ones without a software, we are going to give them an affordable software. Apart from that, we are also targeting those companies that are selling softwares. You know, we have companies that are selling softwares, maybe the restaurant softwares, maybe the supermarket softwares and like. So those companies, I'm targeting them to work with them because they have their own developers. I'm going to give them what we call an API, a documentation, and then they are going to write the code to integrate to me and then to my endpoint, and then my endpoint is going to integrate with Kenya Revenue, and then I'm going to guide them and I'm going to make sure that they have been able to integrate their softwares so that they can now be able to go and update their clients. And of course, now they'll be paying for that service, they'll be paying as a subscription service.
Wonderful, wonderful. So in your experience, the general business experience, there's a huge complaint because we deal with a lot of entrepreneurs and founders. There's a huge complaint that in the Kenyan market, at least, there are a lot of people without jobs, and yet their entrepreneurs are complaining that they can't find the right people for the job. So please take us through the method you use to select your team, so that the right team, so that it can take you from to 500 people who are buying your product. You know, it takes you to recruit a certain kind of person, right? What systems or what kind of thing were you looking for? Did you meet any barriers to get the right people? And if there's anything you would like to advise someone who wants to employ people. Yes.
Okay, thank you for that question. I remember even, I think last week, discussing with Eunice and Anne, and I told them For me, yes, I have this product. I'm ready to go to the market, but I don't want to be a know-it-all. Technically, I know I'm good, but even if I've attended the 20X and I have those skills in marketing and training the team, that was the market in Rwanda. In Kenya is a bit complex. I wouldn't consider myself as a know-it-all in the marketing. What have you? So I remember talking with Eunice and asking her that for me, I would like to have an extra support in the sales team, whereby you can help me to recruit. We can work together how we are going to train this team, and then you can kind of manage my sales team so that I'm able to concentrate on the technical aspect, which I'm good in now. When we go to the technical areas, at least I have an advantage. Before I had worked as a lecturer in university, so it gives me a good skill in training the people and things like that. But in getting my technical team, having, as I have said, I've worked as in universities as a lecturer or what have you. So I was able to approach some running institutions and tell them, if you have some students who have already graduated who are very good, or you have some students who are graduating this time who are very good, I would like you to give me a list of them, then I can work with them, I can train them, and then we can be able to see how we can work out together. So they were very useful and they helped me with the team. But now for me, when I'm training the team, like when I have that company of that DT's technology. So first of all, I'll select a customer, tell them, let this company be our customer. Now we want to sell this software to this company, this supermarket software to this company. So where do we start? So we go practically. How do you fill the document? How do you onboard the customer? What is the process of installation? What is the training? What is selling? And then I spent with them for like 3 weeks or 1 month, training, evaluating, giving them practical experience, giving them exercises, and trying to follow with them and to make sure that they know what they are doing. But you see, as I have said, I don't want to make myself a know-it-all. Where I feel that, like for example, in marketing, I'm not very, very good now, I'm going to get an expert to come and help me. So what I would advise is to those people venturing in the business, my advice would be, know your strengths, know where you are weak in, and where you are weak, make sure you know the person who is strong on that point so that he can come and you can be able to walk the journey together, and then you're going to be able to achieve your target.
Yes, that is very good. In this room, Atanas, there might be an entrepreneur like you who is stuck the way you were stuck last year. And he's wondering if this 20X thing, he's in a webinar just like you came to a webinar. He's wondering whether this is the right choice for him, whether 20X is the right choice for him or her. What could you tell him or her? And what could you tell him or her, basically?
Okay. What I'll tell the person is there's no other better place than 20X, because already you know your product, you know the technicalities about your product, but now where the challenge is reaching out to that person who need to purchase your product or who you need to sell to. And in 20X, what they do, they take you from zero. They assume that you don't know anything, and they take you from zero and they give you all the skills that you need. And this is not a school where they train you like a school. No, these people are going to take you. They are going to tell you this is the procedure. Like for example, if you want to market in a webinar, they're going to give you a practical experience. They are going to give you a challenge. They are going to tell you, go and look for people who will participate in your webinar, and your webinar is going to be on this day, and we are going to participate. You see, that one gives you kind of a practical experience. If, for example, it is selling through the social media, they bring a guru in the social media. be it be in Instagram or Facebook or WhatsApp and whatever, they bring an expert. The expert takes you through the nitty-gritties of that. And then this expert tells you, tomorrow or next week, I want to see your product that you have created. I want to see a social media advert for it. You see, they're giving you something that is very, very practical. And by the end of that session, I don't think whether there's any other school that you can go into that can give you a real life experience, a hands-on experience that can really solve your problem than 20x.
Asante sana kwa kutupigia debe. Thank you very much. I would like, I'm sure there are people with questions here. You can ask them on the chat, or even you can raise your hand and I will call on you to ask. If you have any question for Atanas, any question. You can ask it on the chat or raise your hand. No questions. Any question? It seems that there are none. So now in the next few can you please mute if there's someone who's, so you've operated in Francis, he's from Dimetech Group. He's a technical sales executive. Welcome, Francis. Thank you for gracing our webinar. So now, before people ask questions at Atanas, you've operated in Kenya and in Rwanda. What are the differences and what can Kenya learn from there? You've said that the Kenyan market is a bit complex. In a few words, perhaps explain what you mean and make that comparison so that we can know as business people also here, so that we can know what to learn.
Yeah, when I say the Kenyan market is complex, I would illustrate with an example. Like, for example, you see, in Kenya, so many people have gone to school, they have graduated, there is no work, but they have the skills. So sometimes I look in Facebook and I'm seeing people advertising a software, like for example, point of sale, a restaurant software or what have you. Then I see a person has put the price as, let's say, 15,000, 20,000, 30,000. And when I look at what the features the person is saying the software is having and what have you, that's a software that in Rwanda would sell for a minimum of 200,000 Kenya shillings. What they are selling here, 30,000 shillings. So it tells you that, one, there is a lot of competition in this market, and there are those people with briefcase companies who maybe they have downloaded the software, maybe it's a free trial or they have developed, but they are willing to give it at 15,000 shillings. What you are going to give with 200,000 shillings. So you see, that's one of the complexity, because when you go to a restaurant and you tell them, now I have this software, blah, 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 and then they hear you are talking of 100,000 and somebody who is selling at 15,000, you can see that one is going to be one challenge. Secondly, the other challenge between Kenya, which differentiates Kenya and Rwanda market, is that, you see, the government in Rwanda is really trying as much as possible to promote technology to a point whereby it's almost mandatory that if it's a coffee shop, if it's a restaurant, if it's a bar, they must have a system, and they must be able to give the ETR receipts, and they must be able to give printed receipts, not the ones written in hand. And they enforce that rule to the latter. But you see now, what you'll find as the opposite here is that there's no that enforcement, which leaves a free room for those people. They can write on papers, they can operate without having the systems. And when it's happening like that, you see also the demand is not as high. And then the third is, you see, in Rwanda, the country is well structured such that there are not those traffic jams. The mode of transport are easy to move from one point to another, such that you can be able to meet like even 10 clients in a day. But now in Nairobi, assume you had to see a customer in Githurai and another one in Kawangware, then can take you the whole day, and then you're not able to meet as many as possible. So those are some of the challenges that I have seen in comparative between the two.
Wow. It seems that we have a lot to learn. So you've talked about those challenges. How are you overcoming them?
Yeah, first of all is on the question of pricing. Why would somebody sell 15,000 for 15,000 and me, I'm going to sell it to you at 100,000? I think this goes to the value proposition. The value proposition in the sense that me, I have an office, me, I have a team. Whenever you have a problem, we are going to have an SLA, and the problem is going to be attended within not more than 10 or 15 minutes. So that's one. Number two, this product that I have, you can even go to the website of KRA, you can see it's already approved. So it's a standard product, not like the other one that's not maybe approved. So I think that's one that will help me in the issue of the pricing. Now, on the issue of the enforcement, of course, I cannot enforce, but I think that one we leave it to KRA to try to see how they can enforce the rules. Once they enforce the rules, the market is going to be there. On the issue of what I was saying, the distance, you cannot be able to cover many clients at a go. I think now that one we can try as much as possible to see if we can work remotely over the internet and things, but that one is going to be quite a challenge also. It's also giving me quite a challenge to see how I'm going to overcome that.
Thank you very much, Athanas. Thank you for coming to tell us about your journey and telling us about your success, from not having enough people to getting burnout from customers. That's what we do at 20X. So thank you very much. If there's anything you'd like to add before, please, Athanas, thank you. Please add now.
Okay, so what I would like to add is that I would really try to encourage someone who is out there, even if your work is not selling, try to enroll to this program of 20X, and you're going to learn so many things, even interpersonal skills that you can be able to interact, even to understand the problem the customer has and how they can be solved is going to be very, very important. Secondly, in that class, you're going to meet so many people. You're going to have a very good networking, and you are not going to regret it. Third, I would insist also, make sure you know your product very well, such that when you're talking to the customer, he can really see that this person really knows his stuff. And when you combine that with the knowledge on from 20X, I think the sky is going to be the limit.
Yes, there is one question from Gloria. She's thanking you, and she's saying you have great insights on how you've increased your sales and how you majorly used webinars to increase them. She's asking, which in your opinion is the best way of increasing sales in a healthcare institution that offers services?
Come again, please.
Which in your opinion is the best way of increasing sales in a healthcare institution that offers services?
Okay, what's the best way of increasing sales in a healthcare institution that offers services, right? That's the question?
Yes.
Okay. For me, from my experience, when I was talking about the webinar, what I wanted to move more was the HR application and the payroll. So what I did was that I went to, in Rwanda, there is what we call the Rwanda Development Board, who registers the companies. And I requested for the list of all the big companies and their contacts, and then I could contact the HR and they would give me the people. So even in this healthcare, you see, the best thing would be to hit many birds with one stone. So what I would advise is, first, you need to have a list of all the healthcare institutions in your area. Get the contacts, try even to visit them and try to ask those people who are responsible in the area that you feel that you want to sell your service. Try to create a webinar and then encourage them to participate and then do your presentation very, very well. And from there, because those people have already registered, you have their details. Then now you can start following them up. You know, they become your potential lead, and then you can start now following them one by one. At least when now you are calling them, there's something they had seen. And those who had not been able to participate, at least you had recorded that kind of a thing, and then you have sent to them, and then they have been able to watch and have had the idea. I think, to me, that would be the best that I would recommend.
Asante sana. I hope he has answered your question. I think he has. Is there any other question? Any other question? You can raise your hand or ask on the chat. No other questions. I can see it is 1 minute to 8. We have really kept time. I would really like to thank you, Atanas, for showing up. Here at 20X, we know it's not only about sales training and so on. We recruit the team for you, we train them for you, we onboard them for you, and we build a sales process for you that works. The same kind of sales process that worked for Atanas. So we will be reaching out to you early tomorrow, to each and every one of you, and we will have a conversation about how we can help you. If there is nothing else to add, thank you for showing up to the webinar, and may God bless you and have a good night. Good night.
Thank you. Good night too.
Good night.